every moment of every day, whether you're eating, sleeping, or watching TV, your brain is active, sending many electrical signals between neurons and synapses that can be measured. Neurons transmit electrical impulses in response to stimuli, and this is what's measured in brain activity. Most commonly measured with an EEG, which was invented by Hans Berger, who was a German neurologist famous for his advancements within the field. The EEG creates a graph of neural oscillations, which are known as brainwaves. These graphs can then be used to see how well one sleeps, the performance of anesthesia, diagnose epilepsy, comas, brain death, and strokes. EEGs measure collective electrical activity of the cerebral cortex, and when using an EEG, electrical nodes are adhered to the temples of one's head and allows for the measurement of electrical impulses in the brain. In this field of neuroscience, the EEG is very important as many scientific discoveries have been made with the help of Berger's invention.
So, on the topic of neurons and neuroscience, we have intrinsic brain activity. Intrinsic brain activity is defined as collections of constantly firing neurons that control your inner functions that happen without thought. For example, it keeps your heart beating and lungs breathing. But an interesting part of intrinsic brain activity is that they are, quote, the origin of dreams, daydreams, imagination, mind-wandering, and reveries, end quote. And they control how you perceive the world around you. They interpret every input you're given, meaning sound, light, and more. Your intrinsic brain activities interpret this world through a constant stream of predictions based off of your current surroundings and possible scenarios that you have learned to identify. Because of your past experiences, you'd expect this sentence to be read like this. This is because our brains are constantly making predictions, which leave some interesting TOK topics to cover about how we know what we know, when our reality is just multiple predictions that our brain makes.
The electrical activity in the brain can be measured and defined as 5 distinct electrical levels, ranging from the most activity to the least activity. These brainwaves are known as gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. The electrical activity is defined in hertz and is directly related to your personal and mental activity. These brainwaves can be measured and give us great insight into our own current state of mind. For example, anxious people tend to produce an overabundance of high beta waves, while people sleeping would have little beta brainwaves. Gamma brainwaves are associated with the state of being in the zone, that feeling that you can do anything with peak concentration and extremely high levels of cognitive functioning. Gamma brainwaves are the fastest brainwave frequency with the smallest amplitude. Everyone has gamma brainwave activity, but the amount of gamma waves produced varies. Elite athletes, top-notch musicians, and high achievers in all fields produce far more gamma waves than average. Low amounts of gamma brainwave activity has been linked to learning difficulties, poor memory, and impaired mental processing. When the brain is aroused and actively engaged in mental activities, it generates beta waves. These beta waves are of relatively low amplitude and are the second fastest of the 5 different brain waves. Beta waves are characteristic of a strongly engaged mind. For example, a person in active conversation or a debater would be in high beta. The next brainwave category in order of frequency is alpha. Alpha represents non-arousal. Alpha brainwaves are slower and higher in amplitude. A person who has completed a task and sits down to rest and reflect or meditate is usually in an alpha state. The next state, theta brainwaves, are typically of even greater amplitude and slower frequency. A person who has taken time off from a task and begins to daydream is often in a theta brainwave state. It is a state where tasks become so automatic that you can mentally disengage from them. The final brainwave state is delta. Here, the brainwaves are associated with the greatest amplitude and slowest frequency. These brainwaves are associated with deep, dreamless sleep, taking you down to the lowest frequency. They never go down to 0 because that would mean you are brain dead. When we go to bed and read for a few minutes before attempting sleep, we are likely to be in low beta. When we put the book down, turn off the lights, and close our eyes, our brainwaves will descend from beta to alpha to theta, and finally when we fall asleep, to delta. Research has shown that although one brainwave state may predominate at any given time, depending on the activity level of the individual, the remaining 4 brain states are present in the mix of brainwaves at all times. After this video, we will do an activity. For this activity, you will be separated into 5 groups that correspond with the 5 brainwaves. In order to get with your group, we will give you a sheet of paper that describes an action that you must do. You will find your group based on other people who are acting out the same activity. You must perform this activity without revealing your brainwave to other people. Once everyone is in their assigned groups, we will then go to the cafeteria and play a game. There will be 5 different colored hoops corresponding with your brainwave, along with 10 different colored balls in each hoop. Each brainwave group will be assigned a hoop to protect. The goal of the game is to have all 10 balls that are your brainwave's colors while making sure that no other brainwave gets their balls from your hoop. There will be a prize for the winner.